Hello everyone and welcome to another horrific review. Chris and I are back as we discuss Critters 2, the main course, directed by Mike Garris. Eggs of a small but ferocious alien creatures called Krites are left behind on Earth and after hatching set their appetites on the small farm town of Grover's Bend. We are back for some cheesiness.
This is a ton of fun. I'm telling you.
Did you enjoy this one better than this first?
I did immensely. I feel like
I'm glad you kept the faith.
Yeah, I feel like they leaned into it a little bit more. The critters have a little bit more of a personality in this one. Yeah, I just think overall they realize that it's not successful as a horror movie, but it's successful as a comedy based around a horror movie. You know, like they definitely had the tone.
More of a Tremors vibe, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Anytime like the town has to come together against like an inescapable evil, in some way. So I like that aspect. I love the part, at the end where the town gets together and tries to figure out a way of stopping these things. But it also had like the right tone. To me, it was I thought it was much better than the first one. The first one, I didn't know if they were going for like a Gremlins feel, but it didn't have the heart of Gremlins. Whereas I thought this one had a little bit of heart. It had a little bit of fun. It had a mix of everything.
Yeah, they made it its own thing. Maybe they just weren't too sure the first time around and didn't know quite what to go for.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You can kind of see that disjoint because they were going for a horror vibe, definitely.
Yeah.
But the other aspects of it kind of pulled it away. So it's a bit like House and House 2. House, they weren't 100% quite sure what to do. And then House 2 is like, nah, let's go full comedy. It's the way forward.
Yeah. It makes sense.
You were on that review, weren't you?
Yeah, I had fun with those.
So remember I had that little thing with House, the first House movie? I was like, huh? What?
Yeah. And I think Evil Dead is the perfect example too. Compare the first Evil Dead to the second one, and it seems like almost exclusively people prefer the second one. I feel like, especially back then, you didn't have the resources to do like a ton of audience testing. Like nowadays they do, not that they get it right per se, because they have like a message.
They actually get it worse.
They do get it worse, but it's because they're going for a particular, message.
They want sycophants that'll tell them it's all right. Like any corporate entity, yes, we have a focus group, but the focus group tells us what we already wanted to hear anyway. So therefore, it's not real world.
That's true. But I feel like in the 80s, they didn't really have the resources to do like a ton of audience testing. So I feel like sometimes these sequels on these cheesy horror movies are better than the first one because they figured out what worked and what didn't work from the first one.
And plus, these were all more or less exclusively the home rental market. These never hit cinemas.
Right.
These were all VHS. This is all you went to the store, and a store survived or died on its collection.
Yeah,
usually the horror section is what kept the store open. They're closed.
Yeah, I believe it.
And so they got a bunch of terrible movies, and then nobody went to the store anymore, and then they closed down. And they didn't have because the price of these, if you remember back in the day, for a rental VHS was ridiculous.
Yeah, in relation to like inflation, it was
just like there were hundreds of pounds for the these were really tightly controlled.
Yeah, you're right. And it wasn't like you could just order on Amazon, it'll be there the next day. Like you had to go out. It was an effort to find these things if you were going to buy it. Whereas if you rented it, that was a much easier way of doing it. So you relied on those rental stores. The
market changed again, obviously, with home DVD. That was a change again. But I'm talking, this is purely square right in the middle, 1986, in the middle of the home rental era. This is these movies were specifically made for you to go on a Friday night, rent and bring home and watch with your friends.
Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, I never watched these at the time. These are all brand new to me, but I definitely got into it, and it felt 80s. It felt nostalgic, even though I never watched it as a kid, and it was just a good feeling. And like I said, it had a great mix. It had the comedy. It had a little bit of horror. I thought they did a good job with some of the scenes, like the scene where the Krites take down the antique shop owner when he's on the chair. That was pretty good. That was pretty good, pretty scary, a little scary. And then it had the heart where you had the the bounty hunter that gets killed. So it had a heart. It had a little bit of sadness. It had the town coming together. It's just a great mix.
Yep. Not Og. Lee.
Yeah, Lee, right.
Hogan Lee. Great. But yeah, busy back. I like the way they tied. Like this wasn't just a shoehorn on. They actually had time and following. As much as it's a cheesy, like fun plot, it still made sense. We saw the eggs from the first one.
Yes,
we knew they were coming back.
That's a great point, because sometimes, like Leprechaun, they decide to like keep the villain and just change everything from movie to movie. And me personally, when I see a sequel, I do want to feel like it's a continued story. And this one absolutely felt like it was a continued story, and that you had the main character, the main protagonist. I know the actor Scott Grimes. Bradley?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought he was great in the first one, and he was great in this one. It helps when you like the character, the main protagonist. It helps. And
the family tried to move on from this. And that was him returning to see his aunt.
Yeah.
So it actually made sense. And they didn't bring the whole family back and try and shoehorn everybody in and didn't do member berries. It just felt right.
Yeah.
The only character I think got a disservice was Charlie.
You thought so?
I thought he could have had a chance to grow. Like, obviously we see him. He's out with the bounty hunters. And he's trying to make it. But sure, this has been 2 years. Surely 2 years. And we know the bounty hunters are not exactly the most reliable ones. They've got a bad reputation anyway.
Yeah.
But I thought he might have come back with a bit of a tougher edge to him.
He was very similar to how he was at the end of the first movie. There wasn't a lot of growth. Yeah, that's a good point. I liked the idea of a human bounty hunter in space, like out of his element. And I was kind of hoping they were going to show a little bit more of that. I thought that would be a really interesting.
That was probably the most expensive part, so they had to watch the budget.
Yeah.
That was probably half the movie budget, just the first scene of going out all the polystyrene they had to buy to make the models.
Yeah, but it was giving me vibes of The Last Starfighter. You remember that one?
God, I haven't watched that in years.
Yeah, but he's playing a video game, and he gets chosen to fight in an actual,
See, here's the... I need to... Oh. Somebody...
okay. It was just me for a sec.
Sorry, police. The online... Did I say something wrong? Sorry, don't arrest me. I wasn't saying illegal stuff.
I didn't.
Sorry, it's not illegal in the UK if you didn't know to have any sort of sense of humor or thoughts and anything. So maybe I've accidentally committed wrong thing. And Nastasia are going to kick the door in any second. Just stand by. Have to preface any stream noise if I get a black bag over my head. I've obviously said something wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, we're too close to the truth on this one. I didn't even give my theory yet.
He didn't become like completely kick arse and super competent. He's still bumbling about, but you would think he'd have learned a few things and just not been as goofy when he came back.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I don't think they have the budget, and they didn't go this route in any of the sequels. But I would have liked to have seen, what his life is like as a bounty hunter, like exploring these worlds for the first time. We got that one glimpse of it where he gets attacked by that spider alien, and I thought that would be a cool movie.
Even that we've never, like, there's loads of movies like this that they never paid off. At least we got a payoff this time.
Yeah.
Before it would have been just disappeared off and never got an inkling. At least with this one, I felt like they're actually paying off the plot from the previous one, so they didn't just leave it hanging and he didn't mysteriously come back. Right.
That's true. And I'm glad he survives at the end, because I hope to see him in the sequels.
I can't remember. It's been ages. Like I said, these are the first two I remember vividly.
Yeah.
And then third and the fourth one are sort of lost the mist of time. But yeah,
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, Bradley coming back, to town, and the town's obviously moved on, decided to fight everything and forget it ever happened. Then, and yeah, he's a reminder of the strange things that happened.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting plot point because in this world, the people seem to be aware of the events of the first movie, but they don't always believe it, which is probably very realistic of how it would be. Like despite the fact that you have hard evidence, people just distrust everything especially in the media these days.
Oh god,
So
can't think why.
yeah. So it makes sense that he would try to downplay it and say, oh, it must have been a dream and stuff like that. Because I bet at the beginning, he was going along with the authorities. He was telling the truth. And then after a while, as people, kids in school started to harass him and he started to get pressure from the media, I could see why he would be like, all right, I changed my mind. This never happened.
Yeah, fine. You win. I'm out of here. And then obviously the family moved on to live peaceful life, but he's coming back to visit his aunt, which it all tied nicely. It felt believable. Yeah. And then the strange attitude towards him as well, those that remember. And that, so yeah, obviously a small town like that, a kerfuffle would last for generations. It's only been 2 years, but still a small town like that, yeah, that's talking, material for to tell your children and your grandchildren sort of thing.
Yeah. No, it all made sense. They did a good job for a direct-to-DVD sequel of a horror movie. They actually made sense with all their plot points.
It's amazing how the story. It's the simple things. It's not the budget. It's not the actors. The story carries everything.
Yeah.
When the story makes sense, you're on board.
Yeah.
And once again, the intent of this is to entertain us and not just rehash the first one. Give us something a bit new.
And unlike Sharknado, the protagonist is actually likable too, which helps.
And you like him. He was a bit of a brat in the first one, but he's still likable. He's just being a brat for not completely harmless, but when it came to stepping up, he was there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm coming back now. He's a bit older and wiser. He's been through that. And you can actually see the change in him. I hate it when a character goes through something. And that's why I'm saying I feel like Charlie was shortchanged.
Yeah.
But you see Bradley has grown, not just in stature, but actually as a person. And he's not the little brat anymore. He's actually quite level-headed, and he doesn't want to cause a ruckus. He's trying to just go through, get his visit done quietly. It's everyone keeps coming to him. And then we'll have the newspaper. What they ask about the space porcupines.
Yeah, I like that whole aspect of the newspaper. They're trying to capture the story, but they don't want to focus too much on the space porcupines because they don't want to be considered the National Enquirer, which is in the
it's comedy gold. That.
Yeah.
We actually got that over here, and it's under the comedy section.
Oh right,
it was just nailed it, and everyone just took it as a comedy rag. It's fun.
What was it? What was the movie Men in Black where they used that to get their leads?
Yes.
That was funny.
Fun times. But there's another thing as well, because obviously this is bang middle of the 80s, the analog age, and the newspapers using typeset and print, actually printing press and everything else, and everything has to be perfect for the first one, or else the run goes. So much precision has to be done. It's just hard to remember all that stuff. How hard it was actually to produce something.
Yeah, just the idea of because everything you have such time pressure because you got to get everything done so it's in time for the the early morning when the deliveries go out. So just the idea of trying to you get the story, you only have 20 minutes to get it all lay out and everything done. So yeah, it's sad.
My first ever job when I was in school was a paper boy, and Sundays were the worst. If you were I'm talking, you're around 7 o'clock in the morning. If you were any bit late with the Sunday morning newspapers, people used to freak out.
Yeah.
Proper, it's 7:15 and my newspaper's not here.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that too. The worst was the collection day. You think it would be like a fun day because you get like tips and stuff like that. But that was the worst. People were like, they don't care.
Hiding and ducking from you. And,
yeah. You see them in the window.
Yeah.
You ring the doorbell. It's $1.25, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah. Come on.
Hey, Del, how are you?
Somebody suffering from insomnia? Well, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning over there, is it not? Or 7? No, it's just after 7 in the morning, is it?
Just in time for her newspaper. We were just talking
yeah,
about
just
that.
in time, yeah. But I love the way this is all building around Easter. It's just perfect, and it's going to be an Easter egg hunt, and of course the cried eggs get found. They haven't hatched yet because I haven't had the right conditions. So I like the idea as well, they lie dormant until the right conditions happen.
I didn't put that together. Yeah, so it's like it has to be.
It was the heater. It was the heater being next to them. Hatched them. They've been sitting dormant because the ambient temperature hasn't been enough.
That's true. In fact, the guy says when he walks into the barn, it's cold in here. He makes a point of saying that when they find the eggs. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That makes sense.
But silly little things like that make sense, and then the story holds together. Because then you'd be sitting and asking yourself, well, why have they all of a sudden miraculously decided now to hatch? Like they did with a lot of sequels. But this is like, okay, it's Easter, eggs are in the zeitgeist. Okay, he's going to sell the eggs, blah, blah, blah. Right, they look funny enough. Oh, right, heater's on because it's cold. All a sequence of events. And that's the universe as that random.
That's true.
Because if you hadn't put the heater on next to the cart of eggs, they wouldn't have hatched. They'd still been dormant. There's been out in the Easter egg hunt, and life would have went on.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking with the eggs, too? Like, the creature, the crate that laid the eggs is presumably still around. And we don't see him or her for the whole movie. So,
But they were laid at the end of the first movie. So the crates that were there, they were already laid. They're under the house anyway.
There wasn't that many, though, as there were.
Well, we didn't see that many. We only saw a few.
Oh, okay. So you said, yeah, that's true. It could be that they were all laid. Yeah. Okay. I thought there was just 1 or 2 in the first one, and then all of a sudden.
Well, it just showed us, obviously the kit right for the sequel. It just showed us a.
Okay, gotcha. All right, gotcha.
Dear. And then I can't remember her name, but oh my god, what could be more hellish than a vegan birthday party? Or just like a vegan childminder.
Right.
Those poor kids.
Yeah.
Like that's child abuse.
That is. That's the best part about being a kid is pizza and cupcakes. That's why you go to those parties. But it's funny that the aunt was focusing so much on the vegetarian aspect. It did seem to be a major theme to this movie. So much that it got me thinking.
Did you start thinking again?
I did. Either that or I pulled my back out because I'm making this face.
It could be either or.
It's probably both.
Well, we know what happens then.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
It's a theory. It's a Chris. It's a theory. Chris's crazy theory.
It's time for a theory.
My antenna.
Dong.
Are you saying?
Did you just wear gloves as well?
Well, yes. So there's a reason that I'm wearing.
Have we just leveled up?
There's a reason that I'm wearing gloves because I have an important experiment to conduct. But before we get that far, I want to start you off and kind of catch everyone up to speed in case they're joining us for this bit. So in Critters 2, we start at the movie. Well, this isn't really the start, but the first time we're about to see the critters is we discover that they've eaten the dog food inside the shop owner's house. Mm-hmm. And if we go to slide 1, thank you, production crew. I always pretend there's a production crew. So slide 1. So you can see that he's eaten the dog food, which is some sort of meat-based product. This is the 80s where they didn't really worry about, they just put slop.
There weren't no fancy brands back in those days.
Yeah, it's a little bit of
no
sloppy
Caesar
Joe
or James Welby back in the 80s.
Exactly. So it's interesting that the Krites wake up, they eat that, and then all of a sudden they're turned into these very, very aggressive creatures, like maniacs or whatever like that. And I think it has something to do
Why?
with
Because they were sweetness and love in the first one?
Well, in the first one, they've also eaten meat. But this one, they seem to really harp on this. There was a whole theme with the vegetarian and stuff like that. And I was like, well, wait a sec. Maybe there's something to this. Maybe like these creatures perhaps are egged on, or their aggressiveness is ramped up as a result of what they're eating. And then I have further evidence, because this is certainly not enough to convince you or Dell in the audience, who is my real target on this one. See if I can convince her. So, we see the little girl
first thing in the morning to this.
Sorry, Dell. I wish we had something better for you. But
so
we have so we have the sweet little girl, and notice the difference in this scene now. Like, the Krite wakes out of the egg in this one, and does he go crazy and attack the shop owner and eat through the chair and crazy? No. If anything, he sniffs her hand, he sniffs her foot. Yeah, sure. Eventually, he would have, probably killed her, but he wasn't crazy and like a berserker rage like we saw with the other Krites, because they ate the dog meat first, and I think that has something to do with it. So later on, we see that there's a Krite that's in the refrigerator of the ant, and he's eating vegetables, and he says, "Yuck, veggies, ugh." But he's more docile. He's not like in a crazy maniacal rage, because he's eating his veggies. And this seemed to be a real theme that they were getting at, that carnivores or meat eaters are more aggressive. The old theory,
Are you trying to say the Krites are Scottish?
Krites are Scottish, exactly.
Oops,
that's
I just ruined the figure. Oops.
Yeah, that's a future theory. Great. Now I can't do that one. But I definitely think there's something to this. So she even makes a point, and I always say when the director has a line of dialogue, it's often they're trying to get a message across. So when the ant says, "Damn meat eaters," she's making a statement that has something to do with the fact of how they're acting, how they're behaving. You are what you eat is the old saying. And I think that's kind of an important theme that gets missed by the casual observer. So later on, this is a perfect example. At the burger place, look at the Krites on the left who are eating burgers and how like maniacal they look, and the ones on the right that are
one's
eating
even
lettuce.
on the grill.
Yes,
if you think about it, one's actually on the grill eating the burgers.
Exactly. But look how sweet and docile this little critter is. He's eating his lettuce. Probably make for a good pet. I'd recommend it for all your loved ones around the holiday season. Another one. Look at him smiling. Everything seems fine. Compare that to the guy that you mentioned, who's cooking the meat on the grill. He's got blood all over his face. His eyes are crazy. He's about to take somebody down. There's blood splattered all over the place. Like this is a big difference that I'm noticing, and I think it has to do with their diet. So later on, that becomes a big plot point. They use the burgers as a way of getting the Krites, luring them, because they can't resist the sweet, sweet smell.
I love the way
meat bake.
They make the burgers. I was going to bring that up. Like, did it drop that they actually made the burgers?
Yeah. He's at everything. They did like a good job of it. Yeah. I was hungry watching that part.
Nothing worse than fast food places.
But he even said, the big one, cheeseburgers. Now, again, we find out that was Ugg in disguise, but he's appealing to their, desire to eat meat. They're carnivores. Even though they can eat lettuce, they can eat vegetables. We saw that. It definitely seems to change their appearance. And then at the end, they use that as a final plot point. So now I want to get to my experiment, because I see that you're not convinced. And Dell, I can't see you, but I feel like you're not convinced either. So
we need some.
I have these. Conclusive proof. Exactly. So I have these gloves on for a reason, because this is a very sophisticated science experiment. Don't try this at home. But I was able to make a purchase. You can get pretty much anything online these days. And I ordered something from the Andromeda Galaxy. It was very expensive. And the shipping and handling I paid on this is definitely not worth it. But this is an actual living Krite. Okay? He looks friendly, and he is because he hasn't eaten any meat. So now I'm going to show you an experiment. All right? So first I have in my hands a cucumber, a common cucumber, right? So this would be
right.
the
Okay. Where's this channel going?
Get your head out of the gutter. So look, I'm going to feed this little guy. Look, perfectly fine. Look, he's smiling. He's having a great day. No problems at all. Now, I'm going to feed him a hot dog, a meat-based product. And let's watch what happens. Ah! Ah! Ah!
This is rather bit the Oh my god. Are you still with us, Chris? Stomp on it! Stomp on it! Folks, we're going to have to cut off the broadcast. I think we've got problems here. We will be back shortly. There you go, folks.
It's a theory. It's a Chris. It's a theory. Chrissy Chris. Chrissy Chris. Chris's crazy theory.
Oh, that took a turn for the worst. That's where we're going down with this segment. It's going to be like wrestling, we're going to start having like cage matches and stuff. And
this is a science experiment. If the audience can't handle true science being conducted,
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Should you even be here?
We're getting to the facts, people.
Yeah.
But Krites are what they eat, so keep them away from all that damn meat.
But the most evil thing about veganism had to be the fake chocolate bunnies. Like that, there's no call for that. That's if you wanted to declare war on people.
Oh yeah, carob instead of chocolate.
Yeah, that's just like you stop right there.
Yeah,
that
is wrong. That is absolutely wrong. I agree.
Yeah. We also meet as this is all setting up. We meet Wesley. Like, and if you ever just want to make a stereotypical small town hick, possibly inbred, not going anywhere in life, yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that's the guy who steals the eggs in the first place, right? And then he beats up Bradley.
Bradley, and just start because, yeah, Bradley got a bit more popular than him for half a second.
Yeah,
now his time.
That was very 80s, right? To have
it's very 80s,
that type of character in it. But what I do like though is that he helps out the town.
Very American 80s, to be honest.
Yeah, just here.
Yeah, that's an American thing.
Yeah,
that sort of character.
I can see that. But what I did like though is that he helps out the town at the end. Like when it comes down to protecting the town, he didn't run away. Like he stepped up, which I kind of like to see that. You don't see that a lot of times.
No, it was the same as like Bradley in the first one. He was a bit of a brat. He was harmless, but still a bit of a brat. Teasing his sister and stuff. But when it came down to it, they were genuinely good people. And I think this is another thing that, yeah, we can say, yeah, small town, yeah, inbred hicks, blah blah blah. But when it comes down to it, just decent people. Yeah, there's kids are going to be kids. That's all part of that growing up, the pecking order and stuff. And yeah, kids will always push boundaries, but the minute you push back or the minute something's important, and I think we've lost that. I think that's why I'm wanting to revisit these sort of movies. I think that I said last time, like they were just genuinely fun, but also they were showing a positive aspect of people. I mean, shit things happen, but if you stick together and step up when it counts, you can overcome it. And there was always that feeling in the 80s of that.
there was like a community aspect too in a lot of these movies. Maximum Overdrive, they get locked in this diner together and they have to work together. Tremors is a big example of that. The town comes together. In this, the same thing. Wesley's a terrible, person, but comes together, protect the town. And I don't know if it's a small town thing where you just have to learn that you can't rely on, big city resources, and they just naturally learn like they have to provide for each other, or if it's just an 80s thing.
I come from a smaller country, and even though I live in the outskirts, sort of outer boroughs of Belfast, it was still like everyone was like I was considered Belfast, even though it was a city. It's more like a collection of villages stuck together, because every neighborhood area had its own community aspect of things. And yeah, it was a legacy of the conflict that you stayed in your own neighborhoods and you knew who everybody was. Any strangers were looked at with suspicion because of, not obvious reasons. But also within that, like the neighbors, other people's parents looked out for you. If you got into trouble, someone else was there. It was just that thing. You could knock on somebody's door, say your parents went out and you come home late from school, they weren't there, they were out the shop or something. You could knock on your neighbor's door and go and sit there for a minute. There's that aspect, and you went and helped each other out. You didn't even think twice about it.
Yeah.
What I mean? There's that aspect of things. You took each other's bins out and stuff,
We've definitely lost that, right?
God, I remember doing that. I remember people looking at me funny because I would take out the, if I was going out with the bins, I'd grab the neighbours because that's what you did, because then they'd bring them back in. I never even thought twice about it.
Yeah.
I got this, what are you doing now? I was like, huh? Because that's the way I was brought up and did all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Even like the take a penny, leave a penny, like the smallest little aspects are going away from society. Like we don't look to help each other as much, even in the small ways.
It's always when people start taking advantage. It doesn't matter what system is in place. When people start taking the piss, then high trust society goes to low trust.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if this, like critters, if it happened in a low trust society and everyone's all suspicious, they'd run rampant. Because nobody'd be checking on each other. God, what was that one? Sting. The one with the giant came out last year, was it? Year before. Came out recently there. But the giant spider in the apartment block.
I don't remember that.
So basically, people knew each other. It was a shitty apartment tenement block. And obviously people didn't look out for each other. So the spider was able to go and like run rampant, until it got too big.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between high trust and low trust, sort of.
Yeah.
Because if somebody didn't appear, like go and get their shopping, and people noticed, they'd go knock on the door, check if you're okay. That's the difference when you got community, even in cities and stuff. And that used to be. Another film, Battery's Not Included.
Ah, that's a good
Do you remember
example.
that one?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, everybody knew each other, and that's why they weren't able to basically push them out of the block.
Yeah.
Because everyone looked out for each other. Obviously when they don't, that's when things happen.
I love that. I feel like, the movies are a reflection of the current trends in society, and you don't see movies like that because you don't see society acting like that. Mm-hmm. So I that's why I like hearing from you and from Dell. I like hearing like perspectives from other parts of the world, because obviously I just have this very narrow viewpoint, because I don't travel a lot, and so I really kind of just see what goes on locally.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping it was better. I was hoping it was better elsewhere, but it doesn't sound like.
Well, it was until nowhere's unique. Everywhere's got their problems. There's no utopia. It doesn't exist.
That's fair.
Because people are people.
Yeah.
But it's a balancing act. You always try to keep it living. That's the thing. That's the tricky thing about people, is it's always a constant balancing act to try and keep living things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's all. Obviously, the crates are building up. It all comes to a head. Like one of the best scenes in the horror movie has to be the Easter Bunny. Sheriff Corwin is forced to be the Easter Bunny. He's not happy about it.
That was great. His zipper gets stuck and like there's a hole in it, and then just just these little balls come in, and then he just jumps through, because that's what you want to do. If you know that you're getting eaten alive, you want to, like, you have moments to live. You want to make a grand entrance. So jumping through the window,
plate glass, lead lined windows.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Just why not go out with a bang?
Yeah. But that was a fun scene. Yeah.
Of course, they try to go to Sheriff Harv for help, and he's just like, "Nah, you voted me out of office. You're on your own. Stuff is, I'm not better at all."
So that was interesting. He was a different actor, right, from the first movie?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a shame because I really liked the actor in the first one. And that, like I said, when I see sequels and I see the same character played by different actors, it takes me out of the suspended disbelief. Just like kind of like I know it's a reality of productions, and these movies are made years apart. You can't schedule everyone to return, but it was a little bit of a bummer because I did like the actor that played Sheriff Harv in the first one. But this guy is a known actor too. I've seen him in a million things in the 80s and 90s, and he played the part well. But I did like the idea that like he got voted out of his position, which in a town like that is probably like 3-0 the vote, and he's bitter about it.
Yeah, that was a lifetime. The fact that it happened, it's like, why? These things don't happen. People like their regularity.
Yeah,
and he would have just stayed on, but that was the case. He got voted out, probably because of the whole pride thing the first time. So, once again, people are trying to forget, so they want any reminders gone.
Sure. Plus, he wasn't able to figure out the mystery of Charlie, who disappeared.
Mm.
So one of the townsfolk that is missing and never found, like that, the town would be mad about that, But it's probably the right thing now that I think about it.
No way, bars were getting blown up. No, the body soldiers came. The bars were getting blown up and everything. It wasn't just quiet.
Yeah, but it's a shame because he put his life on the line in that first movie.
But that's always the way.
Yeah.
That's always the way. That's people.
Quick to forget. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. One of the best things about this has to be Lee, though.
That was a great story point, and I was thinking, like, if I could make my friends look like someone from Playboy, we'd have a much different relationship, and it would happen very quickly.
Nah, it's something that he finds. Like, yeah, no mess about it. I love the way actually you got the straps and stuff on afterwards. Like, decide just to completely change the uniform. Like, nah, that's what I'm wearing now.
That was fun how they did that. And then I thought after she went back to a different creature, I didn't think they would double down on it, but then they made Lee turn back into her later on in the movie.
Although I have to say, a Robert Englund cameo would have been amazing.
Oh, that's what I thought was happening.
That would have been because New Line Cinema, so they could have done it.
Yeah, that's what I thought was happening.
If that had been, that would have just been like, oh. 9-year-old me would have just been orgasmic. It'd just be like, oh, my dreams have come true.
They teased us because he's staring at the poster.
Yeah, and we're all like, oh.
Yeah. That was mean. That was mean to the director.
That was. But that's a way of it.
But yeah, Lee was a great character. Not just because of the fun aspect or that she looks like a Playboy playmate, which I did enjoy. But also like the heart aspect where because I didn't expect anyone, the bounty hunters to die. I don't know why, but I just figured after they survived the first one, it's going to be like
you thought they were just like a constant. They were just going to come and fix everything.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just it made it. They always made it seem like they have the Krite problem under control.
Yep.
Like they deal with this all the time. It's not a big deal to them.
In fact, they're known for overkill. So
yeah, Exactly. So when she gets killed, I was like really taken aback by it, and it was actually a really good plot point. It had a little bit of heart because you saw the how Ugg and Charlie reacted to it. Yeah.
Because you don't small. It's a small spaceship. You're traveling like continuously. You live together, sleep together. Eat together, kill together, go on jobs. Like your family at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's that'll be heartbreaking. The fact that Ugg doesn't hold back.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
Yeah, I just like the way they're still resistant up to the end. It finally happens, and then they decide, yeah, we're going to deal with this now.
Yeah, and I think another good point to Lee getting killed is that it really ups the what do you, I'm trying to think of the right phrase for this. The
It
risk
ups the
factor.
tension, the
Tension.
risk. Yeah,
Yeah, because when you see a character die in a movie and it's done correctly at the right time, then it really ramps up the tension for everyone else. Like if they could kill that character, then Ugg could probably be killed. And let's face it, Charlie is not essential to the plot; he could be killed. So that you start looking at all those scenes, like a little bit differently. When you're too comfortable that everyone's going to survive, it does take you out of the element for this type of movie. So yeah, I like the fact that there was some danger to the proceedings.
yeah, because that's to me that's the worst thing to do about general slashers is they make the characters unlikable and generic because they don't want you to mind when they get offed,
Right.
and they make the final girl really obvious.
Yes.
And to me, it just detracts from. Like, there's no. I know why you're watching them. They're popcorn flicks. You're watching it for the visuals as opposed to the actual thing. But I like a wee bit more. I like a bit of tension. I like the fact that you don't know who's safe and who isn't,
Yeah.
and that anybody could go, and you don't know exactly how it's going to turn out, and that keeps you invested.
Exactly. Yeah. I was trying to think, has there been a movie where they have like 5 or 6 characters that they spend as much time on the backstory equally, and then you're surprised when they get killed?
Not really. That's not a big thing.
Right? Usually, whichever one they're spending more time on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They make it really obvious who's going to survive.
Right?
Yeah, but this is no. They're.
That would be an interesting experiment and maybe it's happened and I'm just not aware of it because I'm kind of new to the genre still. But if a director spent equal amount of time on 5 different characters in the beginning of a slasher, and then
I'm not even going to bring that comment up, Dale.
Uh-oh.
Vampires don't fucking sparkle.
It's wild. All right. Dear. It could be. I haven't seen it, so I have to take your word for it, Del.
Sparkly vampires where nothing actually happens. Like that was the biggest cop out ever. Yeah, I read the books and because can't criticize something unless you actually go through it.
Right.
And it was just a cop out. And they all lived happily ever after, and everything just got wrapped up in a nice, neat little bow.
Of course, they lived happily ever after. They're vampires. They have to live. They have to live ever after. That's the point of being vampires.
But I like the way this turns into basically like this goes pure 80s. We get like MacGyver, the A-Team, you name it. Just everyone, let's build something to fix everything and get a plan together and load up trucks
and dynamite stuffed in the cheeseburgers. I mean, if that doesn't say 80s to you,
glorious, isn't it?
Most of my plans when I was playing, with my older brother as a kid, and we were pretending to fight the bad guys, involved dynamite in things, and probably was cheeseburgers. Come to think of it. So that was cheesy 80 goodness right there.
Once again, in fact, we had fireworks were banned up until like the ceasefire, so we weren't allowed fireworks because it got turned into other stuff. And true enough, every so often something gets sneaked across, in the Blackburn. We got these French bangers, that look like mini sticks of dynamite, and oh my god, those things were lethal. Like just poof. But see when you attach them to other stuff, oh my god, you could understand why fireworks were banned.
Yeah.
You can do stuff with fireworks. And they're not so much fun anymore. You can have them point them. Like, all you need is a bit of PVC piping.
That's true.
A lot of imagination. You can make some nifty stuff.
That's right. That's funny.
But I just thought that some cheese, like the fact that somebody put the cheese over the top of the dynamite and like made a proper burger.
I like
because they didn't want them not to notice.
Yeah, I like that was someone's job in the town. Like, look, for the next 3 hours, all you're doing is taking cheese slices and putting it on. and for the next 20 years, that's that guy's claim to fame in the town. You know, they're all like having a beer. Remember when we defended the town against those aliens?
I put the cheese on. They never noticed.
One guy's like, I fought them with my bare hands. I slammed the door down and smashed one. What did you do? I put the cheese on the burgers. Oh, all right. We're not going to give you a beer. Everyone else, you get a free beer.
You get a vegan beer.
You get a vegan beer.
Think about your life choices.
Exactly.
Yeah. You think that was it? No, they blew up. You think that would be the end of the movie? They blew up the warehouse, and that's it. You know, Ugg gets revenge for Lee, and they all sort of try to rebuild their lives again. But no. This is a sequel. They're wrapping up. This is a monster movie sequel.
Yeah, I thought it was a good twist because I really did think that was the ending. So I was surprised, and the fact that it's like a giant ball, kind of like a Voltron, where like they come together to form an ultimate. That's also very 80s.
That's what I was holding off. You know, like, and I was holding off. I didn't want to spoil that for you.
That was great. But my only issue with that is that it's very cool and it definitely ramps up, you know, the movie and stuff like that. But then you get Charlie with this, you know, awesome kamikaze, you know, to sacrifice to defend the town. And I'm like, wow, that was really cool. But then there's a little parachute after, and he's perfectly fine, which kind of takes away a little bit of the.
I thought if the ship had to have weapons, and he came in and flew it, and finally, you know, that was his hero moment.
Yeah.
And he just, pew, 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 you know, blew him to smithereens, and then just landed. It was him.
Right.
Like I said, my complaint about this movie is that Charlie's character dirty. They had loads of opportunity for him to grow. And they wasted it. And I don't know why. I was maybe lacking confidence that they were afraid he would be too much not like his own character.
Yeah, and we're supposed to feel bad that he sacrificed himself. But then, like, literally a minute later, he comes back. So you don't even have time to really feel the weight of that sacrifice.
Like, you could have kept that even for the third one.
Yeah. But I like your idea. If he just had a heroic moment and saved the town, you don't have to throw in the supposed sacrifice if you're not going to hold to it.
And then it doesn't, you know, because they're going to get picked up by a space. So Ugg isn't stranded on Earth. He gets picked up 10 minutes later. So it was kind of a bit of a waste. To me, just pew, blow it up. He lands, he's the hero. And then when he gets the sheriff's badge, it would have felt more deserved.
Right.
You know, it would have just gelled a bit better. Like I said, nothing to do with the actor and stuff, you know what I mean? I like Charlie's character. I like the fact that he even said he's given up drinking, etc. He's no interest anymore. I just would have liked him a bit more together. You don't go 2 years doing what he's doing and not change. Like, you saw Bradley change. You saw the town change, bit for the worst, you know, going into denial. But you see Bradley change for the better. Charlie should have had that growth. And that moment of, he's maybe still bumbling. He kept making mistakes and stuff. Fair enough. But that was his moment. And I just think that they kind of shied away a bit.
That's fair. So hopefully he's in the next one and he gets a little bit more to do because he's a good character. I like the idea of like the town ne'er-do-well or, you know, someone that the town is kind of like forgotten about. And, you know, they don't think.
Well, he's always drunk and he's always basically had a permanent cell in the county jail. You know, that was it. Never more than somebody do a few odd jobs just till he gets his next drink.
Yeah, and he's crazy, and like the town just has kind of written him off.
Yeah.
You like that comeback story that he's able
Yeah, that's
to.
it. I just think they
Yeah.
wasted they could have done it a
Right.
bit smoother. I just felt it was wasted.
No, I happen to agree with you. I hope in the third one he gets to have more, more content to work with. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, all in all, fun sequel. I think this is my favorite.
Very fun sequel. Yeah. Like I said, this was better than the first one, and I hope the third one is like this because I really enjoyed it.
I haven't seen it in years, but we're not doing that next. We're going back to some Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Okay, I'm enjoying that too.
So we're going back to some out there. So episodes 3 and 4.
Those first two were fantastic. So I'm
yeah,
pumped.
it's just good. It gets bonkers. No, it just drops up. It just goes bonkers.
Yeah.
I the fact that I still laugh, and I've seen this. I mean, I've seen all 3 seasons about 4 or 5 times at least now.
Yeah.
And I still laugh. That says it all.
It's definitely the best character and the best portrayal of a character. I think in it's certainly comedic horror history. I can't. At the end of these movies, my stomach hurts from these episodes. My stomach hurts from laughing.
Yeah,
at least the first 2. So
yeah, you'll not be disappointed. But there you go.
Awesome.
That was it. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for everyone who turned up. See a few up there. Don't forget, you can say hello in the chat as well. Don't leave down the road.
Hey, Michael.
And mine's not refreshing. Oh, there we go. Do you use to boil acid for a crystal dinner? Maybe so. Who knows? Maybe that's the next theory. I would have tried to prepare Chris.
Yeah, Michael, watch it back and see what you think of the theory. I think I'm onto something with this one.
But there you go. Until next time, folks. Keep updated with the channel. Do the technical things, and remember to keep it creepy. Keep it horrific.